All right, I'm going to get right to the point. When you set your valves on your lash, and you're always curious if you should do a half turn or a full turn, and you know if you're running like 7/16 by say 20 thread or 3/8 by 24 thread, then however many threads per inch would say whatever one turn equals. But then you've got to take into account the rocker, which is a ratio of like either 1.5 or 1.6. I was always curious how much the ratio played into account. So if you look at the math, let's say 3/8 by 24 threads, you can type that in and it'll give you a quick calculation of however many thousandths. Let's just say 42 thousandths or whatever it is. I don't remember exactly. Do you exactly get 42 thousandths of travel at the push rod with one turn? And the answer is no, because you have ratio. So with that taken into account, I was always curious how the ratio affects it. Now, where we at is we're all the way, if we just barely move this to where the needle starts to move, that's 0 lash. So I've already bled the hydraulics out of the plunger. If you turn this further and the needle doesn't move and you watch it over time, the needle will slowly start to move. That's because you're bleeding the oil out of the lifter. In this case, I've already bled the oil out of the lifter, so any moves we make here are going to be pretty immediate. So here, I'm going to take my wrench, and I've already backed off the lock nut on the poly, so that way it won't interfere. But theoretically, one turn should equal 42 thousandths. That's 3/8 by 24 threads, I think. So let's do one turn and see what we get. So we're going to start here, and starting here, and we're going to go quarter, half, 3/4, one turn. So if you look at that, one turn equaled 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, almost 60 thousandths. That's more than what the advertised one turn per 24 threads per inches. So you got to take into account the rocker ratio. Now, I was always curious. This is a Ford roller engine, and I've got Ford performance lifters, and they say the travel in the plunger is 140 thousandths. I found out that's not true in my case, because if I go and I keep turning it to where I run to absolutely no more travel, bingo, right there, I'm lifting the valve, and I've done it several times. So that is 95 thousandths. So my total plunger is 95 thousandths travel. Cut that in half, roughly 90 thousandths in half, 45 thousandths. I want my rocker to be set at 45 thousandths past 0 lash. So let's see. If I back it back up to 0 lash again, and keep in mind, the spring in the plunger is just what's bringing it back to 0. So that's 0 lash. Now I take it to true 0 lash right there. And let's say I want to do 40 thousandths, 45 thousandths. So I get this on, and there is a half turn and 3/4 turn. So now you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 5. So 3/4 turn was roughly it to put me in half of my plunger travel for the hydraulic lifters on a Ford roller engine, 65 Mustang in a 1:6 ratio rocker on Scorpion roller rockers. Want to make the video quick, hope that helps. All right.